Part 26. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 251. Chapter 251 Shield. After Lun Zhenqi left, Yang Zizi immediately distanced himself from Mu Shanai, which made him fall into the bottom. I'm sorry, I used you as a shield. Yang Zizi bowed his head and apologized. It doesn't matter, I am willing to be your shield forever. Mu Shanai looked at her deeply, thinking that he, the of hell, could actually serve as a shield for angels, but he was willing to do so. Zizi, is it true that you just said you wanted to marry me? Mu Shanai asked excitedly, unable to hold back the joy in his heart. I'm sorry. In order to anger Lun Zhenqi, she had no choice but to do so. Zizi, will you marry me? I will definitely treat you well. I will change the rules of and will never kill angels again. Shen Yi hugged her tightly. The devil has been adhering to a tradition for generations. When an angel appeared, he would destroy it. The same was true for Mu Shanai in the past, so he would not be merciful. However, he did not expect that one day, he would actually fall in love with his enemy, and even change the indelible rules of for tens of thousands of years for her. I don't love you, let alone join the race that kills my people. It doesn't matter, we can get married in the human world. I'll give you whatever you want. I'll go wherever you go, okay. As long as she answers an affirmative sentence, she will resolutely leave everything behind and just to be with her. Mu Shanai, please wake up. It is impossible for me to have anything to do with the devil. I don't need to pursue any past grudges. But if you dare to hurt the angels in the future, I will go to and let you experience it too, a taste of genocide. Yang Zizi is tired now. She doesn't want to live in hatred like Lun Zhenqi and affect the happiness of the next generation. Even more because she already had the little life she cared about the most, she had to think even more about herself and even the child. She hoped that she could stay with the child and give him enough love, and could not stand alone in the welfare center like herself. Looking at the door of the courtyard. She wants to go back to her old life, raising her children alone and living the life she wants. Zizi, for your sake, I will never hurt the angels again, and I will always protect you. Hearing what Mu Shanai said, Yang Zizi felt relieved. When she turned around to leave, Mu Shanai kept following her. Yang Zizi returned to the community and the house he had bought himself. At the gate of the community, Mu Shanai was still following her. Muchen Yi, go back to hell, this place is not suitable for you. Don't worry, I won't hurt humans. He kept in mind everything Yang Zizi said to her before, and he would never forget every word she said to him. Yang Zizi sighed. She was so exhausted physically and mentally that she didn't want to say another word. She just wanted to go home and lie on the bed and sleep without moving. Yang Zizi continued to walk into the community. After returning home, I took a cold shower, then lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling blankly. She returned to her old life, but it seemed like she didn't. Her world seemed to be calm, but it seemed that it was not. She burst into tears angrily. The man she had been thinking about for more than 2 years finally came back to her. She thought she could finally be with him forever, but what was supposed to happen still happened. Pain. Mercilessly invading every cell and bone marrow in her. Perhaps this is the miserable feeling of life being worse than death. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 252. Chapter 252, taken from the bank. Mu Shanai bought the house above Yang Zizi, but the name was Yang Zizi. Yang Zizi chose to go to college, film, and then start his own business. There are only 2 or 3 classes a day in college. After class, she goes to film. After filming, she starts a business. She planned to open a brokerage company and invested all her salary in it, plus loans to hire some new star artists, all of whom were carefully selected by Yang Zizi and were college students with a bachelor's degree. Because they have little experience and no good works, but they have a heart that wants to be popular and a face that is extremely beautiful. The most important thing is that these newcomers are cheap to hire, and coupled with the friendly price of the seniors, the salary can be lowered a little. Among them was Choi Ye-in. She is the target that Yang Zizi wants to focus on training. The whole school knows that this sophomore sister is versatile, her acting skills are first-rate, and her external conditions are impeccable. Yang Zizi will film when there is a role, and if there is no role, he will take on variety shows and invest the salary into his company. Our company is full of new artists, and they definitely need senior actors to lead them. It is impossible for senior actors to look down on a fledgling agency. Firstly, they cannot afford to pay a salary commensurate with their talent. Secondly, a fledgling agency, there is no way for him to get onto the world stage quickly and effortlessly. So, she decided to take charge of it herself. Although her acting career only lasted for just over a year, she believed that as long as they learned from each other, they would be able to achieve the results they wanted. It must have been very difficult in the beginning. Borrowing money and loans, hiring staff, packaging artists, negotiating cooperation and investment, everything was extremely difficult. Just when she was worried about money, the company's finance department called and told her that 10 billion had been credited into the company's account, and the other party's information was unknown. Yang Zizi knocked on Mu Cheniai's door and the door opened. Where did you get the money? She wanted to go straight into his heart and see where he got the 10 billion. He has neither labor nor any job in the human world, how could he get such a huge sum of money? It was taken from the bank, Mu Cheniai said calmly, and he was very happy that Yang Zizi could receive the money. The curtain falls. In the most domineering tone, he said that he had done the worst thing, and only Mu Cheniai could do it in this world. Don't worry, I've already returned it. He knew that Yang Zizi would go crazy because of this, but fortunately he was prepared. Yang Zizi is confused. Much Shenyi explained, I gave them some rare treasures from our in the bank, which are worth more than 10 billion to them. I won't accept your money. You should go back quickly, Yang Zizi said coldly. She didn't want to owe anyone any favors, especially Mu Cheniai. That was given to you willingly by the owner. You don't need to pay it back or pay any price. You just need to be responsible and happy. If you are happy, I will be happy. You think I will be happy if I spend your money? Then he really has a big misunderstanding of the word happy. With this money, your company can develop steadily, and you don't have to be so tired day and night. In the past few days, Mu Cheniai looked at the busy Yang Zizi, unable to sleep peacefully. He felt extremely distressed. Yang Zizi thought about it, and from a long-term perspective, she decided to accept the money for the time being and return it to him when the company grows. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 253. Chapter 253 Reality. With the financial support from Mu Cheniai, the company quickly developed steadily, and gradually began to prepare for an IP drama. In the first drama, Yang Zizi naturally chose to play the role of the heroine herself, and she also led the newcomers in the company. Throughout the drama, the main characters were all people from her own company. Of course, the partners also joined. Some artists play important roles in this drama. The drama produced by his company was about to start filming just in time for Yang Zizi's last drama to be successfully completed. At the opening ceremony, Yang Zizi paid special attention to his company's first drama, personally working both inside and outside to ensure that it would be launched 100% smoothly. Everything went well. The only thing that didn't go well was the usual feud in the entertainment industry. Oh, you are the only newcomer with no works, no experience, and no acting skills, but you are still serving as the second female lead. I am afraid you were not chosen by a certain director for the role that was unspoken. The fifth female lead in this drama is wearing a fairy-like costume. Arrogantly, when he saw Choi Ye-in, who played the second female lead, and saw that she was a little prettier than him, he became jealous and sneered at her, even scolding her even worse. I wonder who you are. Not knowing an actor who has any works is the biggest insult to him. A polite question is not very harmful, but it is extremely insulting. You are so blind that you don't even recognize me. I acted in the same. Female number 5 looked ugly and hesitated for a long time, not knowing what to say. She got the role in the drama You Are You by begging and accompanying her with drinks. However, the role in You Are You Goo is similar to that of an extra, except that the camera takes a few seconds longer than that of an extra. And the character has no name at all. How does she explain it? I participated in the top-rated drama As You Are in the first half of this year, female number 5 said arrogantly, as if this was the most glorious thing in her life and the most worthy of showing off. Every time he meets someone, he will raise his chin and tell others that he has participated in the same, which has won the envy of countless people. But Kui Yin doesn't think there's anything to envy at all. Kui Yin had to rush back to continue studying the script. He didn't want to waste time with her here, so he avoided her and was about to leave. Female number 5 was angry. She was so disrespectful to herself. At least, in front of her, she was still an artist who could produce a work. If you give up your position as the second female lead, I can give you a lot of money, the female lead 5 said vulgarly. Even though she wants to win the position of the female lead, the female lead has already been confirmed by a new A-list actress, that is, the actress who plays the female lead in the hit drama The Same. She is self-aware about this. Competing with Yang Zizi for the female lead would be like jumping into a pit of fire. Kui Yin glanced at her with disdain. Looking at her look, he knew that she must be a rich second generation, and there are traces of the acquisition of this number 5 female. She believed that Yang Zizi's vision would never allow someone who looked pure and sweet on the outside but had secrets behind his back to participate in her own work. However, no one knows her true identity. The most important thing I don't need is money. Kui Yin raised the corners of her mouth and said slightly. You, Kui Yin, female number 5 gritted her teeth angrily, almost baring her teeth. Thank you for knowing my name. It seems that even a newcomer with no works, I am more recognizable than you. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 254. Chapter 254 Weird. You. Female number 5 was so angry that she was dizzy. Looking at Kui Yin's leaving figure, she stamped her feet with hatred but could not vent her anger. Baby, you have to be good while you work with your mother. Every now and then, Yang Zizi would feel a pain in her belly that felt like being drained. She always thought it was because she missed Lun Zhenqi too much, but later she realized it was found that it was not the case, but that the fetus in her belly had been sucking her blood to grow. As long as her blood, her black and white wings and fangs will appear instantly because they cannot bear the pain. But the child is very sensible and well behaved, and he only 1 drop of blood at a time. As a result, the growth is abnormally slow now, and the abdomen is flat, and it doesn't look like she is pregnant at all. I just hope that my child can be quiet while I am working, so that no one will notice her angelic and vampire physical characteristics. While waiting for the show, Kui Yin suddenly wanted to go to the bathroom. When he ran into the bathroom, he just saw the oncoming female number 5 coming out of the bathroom. Female number 5 looked at Kui Yin running into the bathroom and had a plan in mind. When Kui Yin finished getting up and was about to leave, she suddenly found that the door was locked from the outside. Open the door quickly. Kui Yin slapped the door hard and screamed loudly. Her first scene is about to begin. The director this time was extremely demanding and couldn't tolerate sand in his eyes. If she was late and hindered the entire team, the director must have replaced her. No, this was the role she wanted most. It was not easy. Do you have to lose after gaining? Kui Yan looked at the top and was about to climb out, but suddenly a basin of ice water fell from the top. Kui Yan shivered from the cold. The biting cold spread throughout her body, making her hug her body tightly. No, she must find a way to get out as soon as possible, otherwise her efforts will be in vain. She continued to crawl, but a basin of ice water poured in from outside and poured over her head, chilling her to the bone. Every bone in her body seemed to be frozen. Suddenly, there was no movement outside the door, and the bathroom door was opened for no reason. Everything that happened was really weird. Cui Yan didn't have time to think too much and ran out of the bathroom quickly. At this time, her first scene was about to be filmed, and the director was looking for her everywhere. When the director looked at Kui Yan standing in front of him, he had a headache. Are you here to work or are you making trouble? This costume is priceless and you made it look like this. How can we film it? The second female lead in the play has a noble status. She is the apple of the eye of the Emperor Juyuan of the Nine Heavens and wins everything. In order to set off this role, Yang Zizi decided to make a big investment. I'm sorry, I. Kui Yan bowed her head and apologized. It doesn't matter. Yang Zizi suddenly came over and said this with a gentle smile. She wants to be friendly to everyone in the world, and she hopes that her children will also be friendly to others in the future. The director responded with a smile. The boss doesn't feel like he's losing anything, so there's no need for him, a clown, to feel like he's losing anything. Let's take the next part first. Okay. Yang Zizi turned to Kui Yan and said, take off your clothes and give them to me first. Schoolgirl, Kui Yan looked at Yang Zizi blankly. They hadn't seen each other for a long time, but Yang Zizi's aura was so strong that everyone was so shocked that they didn't dare to speak and were obedient. Yang Zizi smiled. She is the senior sister who likes her brother. She believed that her brother had some feelings for her during his lifetime. This couldn't help but remind her of her brothers again. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 255. Chapter 255 Strange. Long time no see, Yang Zizi said with a smile. Yeah, Kui Yan lowered his head, hesitantly not knowing whether he should say it or not. My brother is fine, you don't need to worry. Yang Zizi's nose felt sore. She really hoped that what she said was true, that her brothers could be really good, but the reality gave her the hardest blow. That's good, Kui Yan lowered his head and nodded. But didn't he come back? Why didn't he appear in front of the public? Kui Yan asked worriedly. Naturally, Kui Chen held a press conference to the media to announce his comeback. The network was paralyzed for a while, and he was only photographed by the paparazzi. It disappeared after 2 times. Many people are looking for him, but no one knows where he has gone. He has returned to his hometown for the time being. I believe he will appear in front of the public soon and bring you more excellent works, Yang Zizi said with a smile, whether she was comforting herself or deceiving others. That's good. I want to continue to cooperate with him. Although she can't get his love, it doesn't matter, as long as she can see him. Our company does not prohibit artists from falling in love, nor does it have to tie up CP, nor does it require dating to be a private affair, because our company adheres to the principle of strength as the main guide, and traffic is secondary. Kui Yan looked at Yang Zizi with admiration, but she didn't expect that Kui Chen had an equally outstanding biological sister. It is rare for a brokerage company to have such a business model. Strength comes first, traffic comes second. Yang Zizi gave her the costume, and Kui Yan was surprised. She had only been talking to her for a few minutes, but the soaked dress was actually dry and even cleaner. It was still winter. She looked up at the sun suspiciously. The sun was very warm, but not enough to dry a piece of clothing in a matter of minutes. Take it, Yang Zizi motioned to her. Kui Yin took over the costume blankly. This was too weird. When Kui Yin turned around to film, she suddenly heard someone gossiping. Did you know that the female lead in this drama has been replaced? What, isn't her family very rich? I heard that she got this role through the back door, so why did she change it? You think you can sit back and relax if you go through the back door? If your ability and character are not good enough, you will be replaced. Don't you see that the boss of the production company of this drama is such a resolute person? Wow, this relieves my anger. That is, acting arrogant and domineering all day long. It seems that many people in the crew are not happy with the female lead number 5. It is understandable that it was replaced. When the work was done and he was about to leave, Yang Zizi said something domineering to Kui Yin. If someone bullies you again, remember to bully you back, otherwise don't be an artist under my company. Kui Yin was shocked by this schoolgirl. It turns out that a person's changes can really achieve unimaginable effects. What exactly has she gone through to turn from a cheerful and lively young and sunny girl into such a ruthless person? Yes, Kui Yin nodded heavily. Yang Zizi walked out of the set, and Shen Yi was sitting in the car, his arm resting on the window, and his other hand tapping the steering wheel in boredom. She wanted to turn a blind eye and take a detour. She didn't want to have anything to do with the devil. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 256. Chapter 256. Where can I see the air? In the middle of the scene, Shen Yi saw Yang Zizi walking away, quickly ran out of the car and caught up with her. Zizi, I'm here, didn't you see me? I can't see the air, Yang Zizi said coldly. Much Shen Yi expressed that he was very innocent, and he was actually treated as nothing. Zizi, let me take you back. No need, Yang Zizi refused bluntly. Muchanai, we can only be strangers, not friends, Yang Zizi told him clearly, not only because he is a devil, but also because she wants him to leave the human world as soon as possible. If he walks too close, it will be difficult for him to leave the human world because he has concerns. Zizi, don't worry, I will never hurt a human being. I will listen to you and be a kind devil, Muchanai, I swore to God. He is also currently watching the movie Like the Same. Learn new moves from Xiangxia drama. Ever since he came to the human world and followed the TV series The Same, he has discovered more and more that the human world is really novel and more interesting than the dark hell. Yang Zizi suddenly felt severe pain in his heart. Zizi, what's wrong with you? Muchanai hugged her tightly to prevent her from falling. Hurry, help me get into the car. She could clearly feel that her wings were about to come out, her fangs, and even her desire for fresh blood increased for a time. Yang Zizi was helped into the car and all the windows were closed. The wings spread out with a coaxing sound. The car was not big enough to accommodate Yang Zizi's wings. She was in so much pain that she couldn't shrink her wings. She felt severe pain in her body, and the power of her wings shattered the car door. Zizi, Muchanai looked at her worriedly. How could this happen? He wants to do something but doesn't know what he should do. Quick, don't let anyone get close. I'll pass as soon as I can. She began to be hungry and thirsty. She longed for the blood of a living person, but there was a voice in her head telling her that there were people nearby. People in her company and partners must not harm them. She must allow herself to endure it 100%. Yang Zizi screamed in pain. Looking at Muchanai, who was hesitant and not sure what to do, she shouted, "Go quickly." But, Zizi, how can I help you? He had never encountered this kind of situation before, and he didn't know what to do, so he could only worry on the sidelines. You help me hold the others and keep them from getting close. I'll bear it and pass. Yang Zizi was already in so much pain that Mu Chanai actually asked him to repeat what he had just said. This murderer of 1,000 swords, Mu Chanai, really has no eyesight. Okay, neither left nor right could help, so he could only do as Yang Zizi said. Baby, please stop. Mom knows you're hungry. Stop. Let's drink mom's blood when we get home. Yang Zizi covered his lower abdomen, his voice was weak, his face was pale, and his whole body was about to burst of pain. After a while, the child in the belly seemed to hear the sound of Yang Zizi, and soon became quiet. Yang Zizi also slowly returned to normal. Even though she often experienced bone eviscerating pain while carrying this child, she was willing to endure it. Every time she thought of the child's smile after he was born, she felt satisfied. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 257. Chapter 257. I'll catch a few people for you. However, judging from this situation, the child should not be born in a short time, ranging from 1 year to 2 to 3 years at most. However, she is willing to wait for the birth of her child during this difficult time. Mu Shanai, who didn't hear the movement, quickly ran over. Zizi, are you okay? Yang Zizi shook his head weakly. He no longer had the strength to make a sound. How could this happen? What's going on? Mu Shanai asked worriedly. It hasn't been long since I returned to the hybrid physique of a vampire and an angel. This is normal. In order not to worry him, Yang Zizi made a weak sound with his last breath. Then do you need blood? I'll catch a few people for you. Before Mu Chanai could finish speaking, Yang Zizi interrupted her angrily. No, I was once a member of the human race, and I am also a member of the human race now. Therefore, I will definitely keep them safe, and no one can harm humans. Okay, no harm, so how can we prevent this from happening to you again? Mu Shanai asked anxiously. The hybrid of a vampire and an angel has always been unheard of and rare. In 1 year or 3 years, Yang Zizi answered him briefly. She didn't want to tell anyone about her pregnancy. Once one person knew, a third person would know, and even more. The most serious ones will bring danger to both her and the child. So long. Don't worry, I can bear it. You can bear it, but I can't. You are not me. This guy talks really funny. Zizi, you clearly know that I love you, why do you always turn a blind eye so heartlessly? Don't worry, I will definitely find a way to prevent this from happening again. There is no other way, this is something that must be experienced. Unless the child is not in her womb. What's the meaning? Nothing. Yang Zizi lowered his head and avoided his eyes. Zizi, are you hiding something from me? Mu Chanai asked. He thought he knew Yang Zizi very well, and he could tell what she was thinking. I never need to tell you about my affairs, why would I hide it from you? This person must be joking again. Same, he is an outsider and is just wishful thinking here. At night, Mu Shanai returned to hell, asked his elders about this rare situation, and read through recorded history books, but he never got an answer. Because no one has seen mixed blood from beginning to end, let alone appeared. And, Yang Zizi is the first person that has never been seen before. At the end of the scene, Shen Yu returned home in frustration, and the only one who could let him know the reason was Yang Zizi. What is she hiding? Every time Yang Zizi gets up in the morning, he will tell the child in her belly that if she is hungry, she must endure it and wait until night to her blood. The child is very well behaved and obedient. Most of the time he only her blood at night. Occasionally, there will be accidents, just like yesterday. Time passed day by day, and the filming of 9 Lives and 9 Worlds was finally completed and completed smoothly. There is a closing banquet in the evening. As the boss of the company, it would be too disrespectful not to go. It would be easy for people to say that he is acting like a big star and would not bother to attend the closing banquet with his employees. Yang Zizi had no choice but to go to the banquet with only 1/10,000th of luck. If something really happened, it would probably be okay for her to quickly run to the bathroom to hide. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 258. Chapter 258 Tipsy. Several investors were instantly stunned when they saw the appearance of Yang Zizi, and they all looked on the verge of death. Yang Zizi is frequently drunk by investors, but she is not afraid. She has a drink and a drink. Anyway, she has a physique that will never get drunk after 1,000 cups, so there is nothing to be afraid of. Sure enough, just an hour later, several small investors were so drunk that they fell asleep on the table and fell asleep. They were carried back to the hotel by the assistant to rest without even eating a piece of meat. That's strange, isn't there another investor? I heard he is a big shot person. Why haven't you shown up yet? Are you so disrespectful? Sorry, I'm late, and kept everyone waiting. Suddenly, a young man with long legs who looked like an evil spirit walked in with an evil smile on his face, which made people stare at him. This is the face of the Yandere villain in the novel. In future novels, the Yandere villain finally has a face. Wow, he's so handsome. Several leading actors present couldn't help but feel like girls, and their mouths almost drooled when they stared at him. Much Shenyi walked around Yang Zizi's seat, pulled out the chair next to her and sat down. Mr. Yang, I'm sorry, I've been waiting for a long time. Mu Chenyi politely stretched out his hand, pretending not to recognize her. Yang Zizi had no choice but to accompany him to finish the scene. Hello. This guy must have gone to rob a bank again. Can actually become the largest investor in her company. Mu Chenyi drank a few glasses of wine with Mu Chenyi. Strange, my eyes started to feel a little blurry, and my head felt slightly dizzy. She is not drunk after 1,000 cups, but she is a little tipsy. The rapping banquet is over, and the director, producer, actor, screenwriter and other staff members all bid farewell to Yang Zizi. Now only Mu Chenyi and Yang Zizi are left in the private room. Why are you blushing? Mu Chenyi teased her, instinctively thinking that she was blushing because of herself. Yang Zizi turned to look at him, and she seemed to see bits and pieces of bright stars, which were particularly dazzling. Uncle, Yang Zizi stared at Mu Chenyi with confused eyes, and murmured to himself, Lun Chenshi. What? Shenyi didn't have time to hear clearly what Yang Zizi said. I miss you so much. Tears filled her eyes. She was trying hard not to think about the prosperous life for a moment. That kind of effort was simply more painful than death. I will always be by your side, Mu Chenyi said with a smile. Yang Zizi couldn't control herself. Looking at the prosperous world in front of her, she loved and hated it. She suddenly leaned her head over and kissed his lips deeply. Xin Shenyi was shocked. Was she serious? Regardless of whether she was serious or not, now she took the initiative to kiss herself. Even if she said she didn't feel anything, you wouldn't believe it. At the end of the scene, Shenyi hugged her tightly and kissed her. If this was a dream, then he hoped to never wake up and just stay in this moment. 3 seconds later, Yang Zizi suddenly stopped moving. Mu Shenyi was also stunned, let go of her, and called softly, Zizi. Yang Zizi had closed her eyes. She was not breathing, which made it difficult for Mu Chenyi to tell whether she was dead or alive. Fortunately, Yang Zizi woke up quickly. Why haven't you gone back yet? Yang Zizi asked. I'm waiting for you. Mu Chenyi looked at her deeply, wondering, did she not remember what happened just now? Yang Zizi said nothing, picked up his bag, stood up and left. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai Zai. Chapter 259. Chapter 259 Summoning. Yang Zizi walked out of the hotel and found that it was raining heavily. She didn't bring an umbrella, so she had to walk to the parking lot in the rain and drive out the car. Walking on the road, a pair of sweet young couples hugged each other under an umbrella. Even if it was raining, thundering, and lightning, it still felt romantic. Yang Zizi, running alone in the rain, looked particularly sad and pitiful against the backdrop of other people. She can speed up her pace and even fly, but she has chosen to live in the human world, so it is impossible to use the abilities of vampires and angels. She can still do as the Romans do. Suddenly, there was a puddle in front of him. Yang Zizi didn't pay attention and stepped on it. She thought the puddle wouldn't be very deep, but she didn't expect it to be bottomless. She keeps falling down, and it is unknown what is going on below. After falling extremely fast, Yang Zizi finally fell hard to the ground without feeling any pain at all. She looked around and saw that it was the hall of the vampire royal castle. The master sat majestically on the throne. He seemed very angry, as if someone had betrayed him. "Welcome home, my legal wife." Lun Zhenqi opened and closed his mouth, very charming, and the corners of his mouth seemed to be smiling, giving the impression that he was holding back something. "How did I get here?" Gui Kale, who was standing aside, gave her a mocking look. "It's a shame that you love brother Shenqi and you don't even know that he has summoning skills." Summoning. She really didn't know this. She didn't know that he would kill his innocent brothers because of his hatred for Gui Zongliang. She didn't know that after killing his brothers, he could hide it from her calmly, even without changing his face or his heart. She didn't feel any guilt at all. She didn't know too much. She once thought that she was the person who understood him best in the world, but she didn't expect that the clown was actually herself. "Why did you ask me to do this? You are not afraid that I will kill you?" Yang Zizi held a sword in his hand and pointed at Lun Zhenqi. Lun Zhenqi ignored his words and said majestically and domineeringly, "According to the rules of the blood clan, it is impossible for mixed-race children to coexist with us. For the safety of the blood clan and other races, today I will act on behalf of heaven and destroy you." "Destroy her?" Yang Zizi sneered. "Lun Zhenqi, do you know what you are talking about? Yang Zizi, do you think brother Shenqi still loves you? Don't be stupid. Brother Shenqi doesn't love you at all. I told you a long time ago that brother Shenqi is with you because he just wants to be with you. Just for fun, I just want to take advantage of you." Gui Kale stood up and said angrily. Before Gui Kale could finish all her words, Yang Zizi had already knocked her away with his palm. Landed to the ground with a scream. "Ah! Yang Zizi. This is the vampire clan. You actually hurt my people on my territory." Lun Zhenqi got angry. Gui Kale was moved with tears in the corners of his eyes. He finally protected her like he protected Yang Zizi before, then everything she did was worth it. "Your people," Yang Zizi sneered. It seems that she doesn't understand what he wants at all. Only now does she know that his ultimate goal is to obtain the position of the ruler of the blood race. And his appearance of being indifferent to worldly affairs and indifferent to fame and fortune was simply an act. Even the time they spent together was all pretend. The words "his people" made her heart feel a sharp pain. "I blame myself for being stupid and mistaking the wrong person." End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai Zai. Chapter 260. Chapter 260 Marry her. Lun Zhenqi lowered his eyes and was stunned for a few seconds, then said, "Lele is the princess of the blood clan, and I will marry her soon." Yang Zizi's limbs were weak. She tried hard to keep her feet on the ground and not to be embarrassed in front of them. "What about me? Who am I?" Lun Zhenqi thought for a moment and said, "Just use tools." "Really? Use tools?" Yang Zizi was numb from the pain, and he seemed to have no strength to make another sound. So, it's you who killed my brothers, Goikale shouted and attacked her. She does not dodge, nor does she activate the shield spell. She is gambling that may even endanger her life. She looked at Lun Zhenji with firm eyes. She didn't believe that Lun Zhenji wouldn't save her. But she was also very afraid that he would take action. She was afraid that when he protected her again, she would be unable to control herself and run towards him desperately. No matter what hatred or deception he had, she didn't care. However, what disappointed her extremely was that Lun Zhenji was still sitting on the main seat with an indifferent look, watching Yang Zizi being hurt by Goikale with emotionless eyes. Just as Goikale fiercely pulled out a sword from the soldier's hand and was about to stab Yang Zizi's white wings, Lun Zhenji's eyes flashed. Goikale suddenly involuntarily moved the stabbing, and there was no danger to Yang Zizi's life. And the place where he was stabbed healed quickly. Ghost Kale was unwilling to give in and took advantage of this moment to get rid of Yang Zizi. Come here, put Yang Zizi in the dungeon. Just then Goikale gave up. Entering the dungeon is more satisfying than killing him. The huge power of the black and white wings knocked back all the vampire soldiers. Lun Zhenji, since you want to kill me, I won't be polite anymore. Let's settle the old and new accounts together today. What she hated most in her life was that others lied to her, no matter what, but she didn't expect that it was the man she loved most, and she couldn't accept it. This time, he will never be as soft-hearted as last time. However, the current Lun Zhenji is not only the god of war of the vampire clan, but also the king of the vampire clan. Although the power of the hybrid was unmatched by anyone and could even destroy the world, she was ultimately defeated when faced with a swarm of enemies. Yang Zizi was knocked to the ground. Lock her up, Lun Zhenji sat on the main seat, looking at her majestically and condescendingly. Lun Zhenji, you bastard, I will never let you go, Yang Zizi shouted angrily. No matter what, she will definitely avenge this deep hatred. You alone want to kill brother Shenji. The moment she was taken away, Goikale gave her a look of contempt and disdain. Is Goikale a love brain? Lun Zhenji killed her biological half-brother, but she didn't hate him at all. Instead, she helped Lun Zhenji deal with his half-sister. She is worthy of being the biological daughter raised by Goi's own Liang. She is exactly the same as him, both externally and internally. Yang Zizi was hung high on the cross, trying to break free but to no avail. Brother Shenji, Goikale walked into Lun Zhenji's room. What are you doing here? Have you forgotten my rules? Lun Zhenji was furious and started to fight. Goikale immediately trembled with fear, lowered his head, bent his waist 360 degrees, and apologized again and again. I'm sorry, brother Shenji, Lun Zhenji lowered his eyes and glanced at her. What do you want from me? Space. Is it true that you said you would marry me? Goikale looked at Lun Zhenji with joy. The moment she heard Lun Zhenji said that he wanted to marry her, she felt that the whole world was extraordinarily indulgent to her. End of this chapter.